What's going on, guys? And welcome to episode 21 of the Offshore Gamescast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dylan. And we would love to hear from you. So if you go to offshoregamescast.com/contact, you can write in. You can write in about video games, you can write in about gaming news, you can write in about anything, really. And we might talk about it.
Or if you just want to say hi.
If you just say hi, we probably won't talk about that on the podcast. But it would probably get us a smile a little bit.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
We'll say hi back.
Maybe.
Hi.
Just like that. We'll send a voice clip. And with that, let's move on to games, because there was some new stuff that came out this week. Echo Generation.
Yeah.
Something we were both really excited for. You didn't start it, right?
I didn't get a chance to yet.
I am really liking it.
Of course.
I
mean...
some stuff's a little different than I expected, because we both played the demo.
Yeah.
So when they have, remember they put out that post that had like all the characters you can choose from?
Yeah.
So that's not the party. You get to choose as one of those characters to play as, and that's just your character.
Ooh.
And the rest of those characters seem to not exist in the game.
Interesting.
Like, you remember Red, who was waiting at the bus stop for you?
Yeah.
It's not Red anymore. It's a girl that you two are, like, kind of crushing on each other. And I have played a decent amount of this game, and I have seen no Red.
What the fuck?
But I could choose to play as Red.
Weird.
And you get to name your character, so they're not just that name. So, I mean, by default, I had to stick with the guy they had you play that they named Dylan, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I kind of want to stick with him, too. Like, I liked that.
Yeah.
Weird. Not what I expected.
But for those that don't know, this is an old school like adventure game, as in you're running around talking to people and like someone will be like, "Hey, I need some Christmas lights." Then I'll let you up. Then you have to like go do a bunch of stuff. You find some Christmas lights, and the Christmas lights lead you to another thing, to someone else saying they need something that maybe you already came across. It's one of those. You're getting items from all different places, and you get the item like, shit, I needed these pipes.
Yeah. To
go trade into my teacher working on science experiments in his garage. It takes place in the 90s. And it has, what voxel or something?
Yeah, voxel art. Little voxels. They're the little blocks.
Yeah, they're made out of little, not everything is, but like all the characters are made out of these little blocks.
I mean,
the
rest of the game could be. They're just put together in such a way.
I guess technically, all the pixels are, when it comes down to it,
down.
Very nostalgia-driven game.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it takes place in the 90s, and that adventure style is it feels like it's kind of making a little bit of a comeback now. Good,
because back in the day, it was like some of the most fun shit to play.
Yeah, I played a lot of Pajama Sam. A lot of it. And Putt Putt. Children's versions of adventure games.
Gotcha. I don't know what those fucking things are.
You don't...
I don't know what Putt Putt... I don't know what...
How have you never heard of at least Putt Putt?
I don't know what Putt Putt is.
A purple talking car? And you could go, like, mow lawns and play golf?
Nothing.
Pajama Sam?
No.
He wears pajamas and he's like a superhero? But not really? But in his head he is?
No.
Oh, God.
No, bells have been wrong.
You can get a lot of those games on Steam.
I have Steam.
You should honestly check those out.
I might.
Anyway, so adventure game, and then also it taking place in the 90s, which we were both born in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It has that feeling to it. And I don't really know how else to describe it other than it feels like you're in the 90s.
I mean, 90s was just a great time.
Yeah, it like you're making an alien horror movie with your friends. You're in this small town and like everyone knows each other. You're a kid that you just walk around. It's like I was gonna say it's safe.
Yeah,
but it's not.
Your mileage may vary.
It's safe in the sense of like compared to today, like the actual dangers. The music and the way the music and the art all work is great. Mm-hmm. The music is wonderful. I'm probably gonna end up buying the soundtrack afterwards.
Ooh.
And it does a great job of... It has some serious themes to it. So, like, you are totally coming across, like, dead bodies at some point. You come across a dead body, and so this was in the demo, so it's not a huge spoiler. Come across a dead body, and then a real creepy-looking animatronic clown thing
Yeah.
Boss fight happens.
Which that is like, that boss fight stuck out so much to me, from the animations to just how like visually it looked. It was just like,
you will be excited about some of the later bosses.
I know some of the things that they've shown in the trailers and stuff, and it just looks insane.
Yeah, so like that stuff, like those enemies, some of them look pretty creepy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take itself too seriously in the best way possible.
Nice. Yeah.
Because it'll be like, some real fucked up shit will happen. You'll find a dead body that they're like. Again, this is from the demo. There's aliens.
Yeah, I mean, even in the demo, there's a really creepy guy with flyers around for a missing kid, and the cops are like, man, that's a lot to deal with. I can't do two things at once. Yeah. Like, that shit. Like, there's giant rats over this way. Like, kid, come on. I'm just having coffee.
It's great, because, like, there's aliens, there was murder, there's death, all involved with it. And then the next day, like, some government people are at your house, and your mom's like, have you seen anything? And you and your sister are like, nope, haven't noticed anything. And then you leave and you're like, all right, we gotta go check that shit out some more.
Yeah.
It's like, it does a good job of being lighthearted with the writing, or it's a lot of like that kind of snarky back and forth, where like shit's happening and the kid's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And the people are like, well, what do you mean? Like it works really well.
I always think back to Iron Giant, which is probably my favorite animated movie ever. And the way that Hogarth just fucks around with Kent Mansley is just hysterical. Like, he's all on him, like, trying to figure out about this giant robot, and he's like, I'm gonna take him down to the diner, put laxatives inside of his ice cream so I can get away from him. Like, I love that shit. It's just hysterical.
The combat, it is turn-based. And the way it works is you have your normal attack, which every attack has, like, a little mini-game attached to it. Mm-hmm. Even just the normal attacks, which are just hit the button at the right time, and it does a base damage, but you get skills through comic books. So your party is always you and your little sister, and a pet of some kind. So the first one would be from the demo, the cat. Mm-hmm. So from that moment with the cat joins your party. But later on, like, you know that dog? It's like, I can't remember your name. You get that dog a fucking bone, it joins your party.
I had a feeling it would be something like that.
But you can only have one pet out at a time.
Yeah.
And it can be kind of tough because I want to check them all out. But when you get one, it starts at level 1. So I'm like close to level 10.
Yeah.
And it can be kind of annoying to like, all right, well, I need to grind up this party member because this game is not easy.
No.
Especially the bosses. But you get skills through comic books, and they all have different mini games attached to it. So some is like, here's this crosshair moving all around, or like the circle for the crosshair, and you have to get the plus sign in the crosshair, then hit the button. And if that plus is not in the crosshair, you're just doing like less than base damage.
Yeah.
And the bosses, best designs are the bosses. And I don't want to like just give away what everything is. The bosses really look cool, and there's
really, some from the
really
trailer. Like I said, like there's some like.
So what did they show in the trailer? Because I wouldn't consider that a spoiler.
Well, they have like this giant, like, I want to say, like, plant-based worm. Like, think of like the worm from Doom, and that thing's going around. And then there's like a few like turret robots like walking around on like all fours and whatnot.
Oh, I think I fought that one. I know I definitely fought the worm.
There's, I don't know, just the designs in general.
The designs of like
awesome.
Everything is really cool. The bosses are hard.
Yeah.
And so I think from what I've gathered, at least, that a decent amount of them are just optional.
Yeah.
Like, you fight them, you get experience, obviously, so a lot of times it's worth doing just for that. And then, like, the one I'm thinking of, which is probably the hardest one, other than the one I'm currently fighting, I got, like, a comic book from it, which, again, is a new skill.
Nice.
But the one I'm fighting right now, it's like, ooh.
Gotta go grind.
So, this is probably my biggest issue with the game, is that grinding is not as simple as that, because enemies won't just respawn. They, like, kind of sometimes respawn.
Yeah.
So, like, you go back to where the giant rats are on the demo, maybe one will be alive again.
Interesting.
But then you can't just, like, leave the area and go back, and, like, one is maybe back again. It's just, no, that's going to be down for a while.
Weird. So
you can't really grind. What I can do is get some items from the treehouse once you get in there. Like, this girl's running a shop in there, which has a whole bunch of health items. So I probably need to go stock up on that for the boss I'm currently doing. But
just going Yakuza style and just keep healing over and over until it's done.
Basically, because some of these bosses, it takes like 1 or 2 hits and your party can be kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So that is probably my biggest issue with the game.
Otherwise, is there a difficulty setting?
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
Otherwise, I want to talk about a lot of things. I'm not going to because I don't want to give a lot of it away. Yeah. But there's a moment in the school once you get in there that happens that I'm like, ooh, I want to talk about because that got me. Or I kind of figured out what was going on with the creepy guy with the blood all over his fridge.
Yeah. I
know his whole deal. And I want to talk about it real bad.
Maybe we can drop an anchor on
maybe once you get to it, I think this would be a good game for dropping the anchor.
Okay.
Just because it has great moments like that to talk about. But yeah, that's Echo Generation. It's on Game Pass, which is wonderful.
If you have Game Pass, please check it out because that demo is incredible.
Yeah, and from what I see, they're not this is not a huge developer.
IGN gave it a 9.
Oh, did they? I didn't even see that. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. I love the writing, the art style. Like I said, my only issue is it can be sometimes a little too difficult, and it's not the easiest to just grind back up.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, though, I don't have many bad things to say about it. A lot of good things.
I'm very anticipating just hopping into it and trying it out.
And I honestly don't think it's that long.
I've seen people been able to beat it already and even 100% it.
Yeah, it's really, as far as I can tell, I don't know, unless they unlock a whole new area, which I don't even know where that would be.
You're almost done with it then.
I feel like I'm coming towards the end of things.
What do you think? It's 6-8 hours?
Maybe a little longer than that. I feel...
8-12?
Around there, I would think.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be a little longer, but with how difficult it's kind of getting, I'm okay with it.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, definitely check out Echo Generation.
All right.
Everyone, not just you, Dave.
Oh,
everyone.
Yeah, everyone should check it out.
Because I know you're going to.
Absolutely. I got update for Far Cry.
It's amazing now.
No.
Oh. You got an email.
I did not.
We'll get to that.
I did not get any emails. I got the buggy car that I wanted to get.
Okay.
I was doing some more missions and stuff and I ended up getting enough I think metal scrap in order to upgrade my base to the point where I can get it easily. So I got that and it's fun. It's that little addition to the game that just makes it not necessarily more bearable, but I'm able to focus on that and not some of the issues as much. Okay, here's a little treat. I'm just gonna fly around and have fun with it because that's just exciting to me. But
I mean, I think we did talk about it in the podcast, but when you said that sometimes you're driving around and she'll just start singing along to one of the songs or something.
Yeah,
that's really cool to me.
Yeah,
I know that's such a little thing.
It's just small details that really do make it,
but that makes it feel
out.
More alive in a way.
To which she can do that in the flying buggy, which is funny. She's just literally flying around, just Havana, it's all right.
I mean, you can play music in it, right?
I mean, yeah, there's the music that plays off the radio.
Sense.
And I finished the second act, as you would say. I did the Maximus Matanzas storyline.
Okay.
And those are the ones that I felt was a little bit too obnoxious at first. And was
you were saying that top. I would have a tough time with it.
I think that, and I was hoping they would do this. There was a point in the story where it kind of got real down and much more down to earth, and Danny was going over and having serious talks with his name is Bicho. He's the class clown of the group, and he gets real down at some point. And you just have a real nice talk with him. That's all right. These characters have more meaning than just hey, I'm kind of annoying. Hey, I'm the funny guy and whatnot. I think it ended in a way that was satisfactory from how I felt in the beginning. And definitely I think compared to 5, there's much more not jaw-dropping, but sudden actions by the characters that's whoa, okay, this is still a more serious story. Okay. Than not. Well, I will want to say, because I really don't have much to say besides being able to finish the second act. As you were playing through the game and like completing like real big story stuff, it's one of those games where I feel like it's hard to pull off when your character has only met the bad guy like face to face once in like a cutscene, and you really don't get to see them until like later in the game. As you're doing big story stuff, you're getting these like anywhere from like 2 to 5 minute cutscenes of fucking what's his name? I know the actor's name.
El Presidente.
Yeah, but what the Anton Castillo. You get these cutscenes of Anton and Diego where they're just like so down to earth and relatable, while also him being like a big bad dictator, and it really gives them this wonderful like world building to it, where like I'm not just like hearing someone over a phone and having them just be like an annoying antagonist. Like I'm seeing them and it's like, all right, I get it a little bit. Like he's trying to hold up his own power while also teaching his son like how to be like, in his mind, like the true man and like stand up because he needs an heir at some point. And how he feels like it's a very political game. So
I don't know. Ubisoft says they're not trying to say anything political with this game,
and then make an extremely political game,
as they tend to do this.
Yeah.
It's like they want to make a statement, but they don't want to be controversial about it.
Exactly.
So if they just say it's not political,
then it's not political.
Exactly.
But I think those cutscenes really add to the story in such a good way.
Yeah, that makes... I really like when games, or even just like a movie or TV show, makes... I'm not going to say I don't enjoy games when the bad guy is just bad for bad's sake.
Yeah.
But when they give like an actual reason, and the bad guy in their head is like, I'm not doing bad. I'm doing what I have to do. Like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
When they make it a relatable when they make them a relatable character like that, I like that.
I don't think the story, at least for the antagonist, would be nearly as strong if it wasn't for those little cutscenes sprinkled throughout, like major story actions.
That's cool. So, is this game kind of like slowly trending up for you?
Not necessarily, because when I look at a Far Cry game, I hope to enjoy a good story, or at least a decent story, but like I know I'm going to stick around for the side activities and whatnot, and I still just do not have a draw to do them.
Okay.
The only thing that's really keeping me along is how much more I'm enjoying the story than I anticipated. Okay. I have one more main act, and then there's like the final region, because as you... like I said before, I don't know if it's like a Breath of the Wild thing where you can just go and fight Ganon, where you can just go and take out Anton, because as you're finishing these storylines, it's like, all right, now Maximus Matanzas will fight with Libertad. Now the Monteros will fight with Libertad, which makes me think, all right, I don't necessarily would have to, but as you're completing more story missions and your own level is going up, the rank and level across all the different regions are going up slowly to try to like keep it as like a normal paced game instead of like you're just going around being a boss.
But if you wanted to and you were real good, maybe, but you don't know, but potentially you could just go end the game.
I think so. I think that is a possibility.
I always find that interesting.
I do too.
Like, I'm never going to do it because I'm never that good at a game, but...
True, and I want to see what else it has to offer.
Of course, yeah. But it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have too much longer left with it, especially if I'm just, like, beelining.
Yeah, not doing all the side stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I started another new game.
Yeah, what is it?
House of Ashes.
I knew that.
What are they? The Dark Pictures Anthology?
The Dark Pictures Anthology, Episode 3, House of Ashes, which apparently... As IGN has said, this is only Season 1. Which I cannot imagine them doing like 4 more games in a Season 2 after this.
No, which I don't really know what that means. But so this is the first one of these I am playing since Until Dawn. Mm-hmm. So here's my background with this. I saw Until Dawn, I was like, this is cool. This is a cool idea. Yeah. I'm going to play this.
Especially for like the people that was in it.
Right. I played it, and it was, for me, and I think they were doing this on purpose, but it was way too campy for me.
Which I never understood, because when I first heard people playing Until Dawn, I only heard people raving about it.
It was received very well.
I never associated it with like being campy. So when I first played Man of Medan, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah. So Until Dawn, it was like way campier than I thought. And I did finish the game, but I purposely killed everybody.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't care about these characters. it's too campy for me. I can't take it seriously. So I was like purposely missing every QuickTime event. If I remember right, you can get away with a decent amount of QuickTime events in Until Dawn.
Well, yeah. I mean, with how fucking fast they throw them at you.
Oh yeah. And then Man of Medan happened. There was another one, right?
Little Hope.
Little Hope, yeah. And those just kind of like, I saw some videos about them. I was kind of like, I don't know. It's more of that.
I played both of them.
And they were campy, right?
They were. The Little Hope was better. I just don't think
that was after Man of Medan.
Yeah, that was the second one. I just don't think that it concluded its story in a satisfying way.
Okay. Well, when they showed off House of Ashes, when I first saw like the trailer, I was kind of like, this one's maybe looking a little better.
It's the most interesting of the group.
It's definitely more serious. I guess you could say some of the characters are kind of archetypes of like, there's the military hoorah guy, like because you're a group of Marines essentially.
Anytime these games come out, they show you like the characteristics of the characters, and they all play like a very like genre role of like,
right.
Here's the jock, here's the bad boy,
right. And I will say it's a little better with that. It's not like straight up like that, and these characters do have some backstories that are a little more interesting. So I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool, and I gotta say, I'm enjoying it. The acting is pretty good. There are some characters and maybe some lines where it's a little like,
how are their eyes?
So sometimes a little weird.
The eyes were
sometimes a little weird.
The most obtrusive part for me in the other games, because they'll try to deliver a line and the eyes are just doing whatever the fuck they want to do.
So yeah, some of that's still happening.
Just looking off into space.
And there's definitely some lip sync stuff that's not lining up.
Yeah.
There's some stuff like that going on. So yeah, and sometimes the eyes are definitely all over the place to the point where sometimes I'm looking at them, I'm like, so what emotion are they trying to get across right now?
Like, is half the campiness because the eyes are just bonkers?
Maybe. But the acting's pretty good. We're doing so I'm playing with my girlfriend, and I know some of the other games started to introduce this. I don't know exactly where they got with it, so I'm just gonna. My experience with this is it's a cool setup. So we have 2 players. You can play with up to, I think they set up to 6 or something, or maybe 8.
Which is crazy.
Yes, which I would assume that would be like one person controls one character. Or maybe it was 6. 6 makes more sense. But we each get to pick our own difficulty setting, which is a cool thing. So I'm playing on challenging, which is the default, which some of those QuickTime events are pretty brutal, and she's playing on forgiving because she's like, I don't want to deal with these really like fast QuickTime events. Cause
to a point, they are just straight up bullshit.
There are some that like come out of complete nowhere.
Yeah.
And then you get like kind of a draft where you go back and forth picking a character, and then those characters are your characters through the game. Now, I've lost 2 out of my 3 characters.
Oh no!
I'm towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
I've lost 2 out of my 3 characters, so I got 1 left. She has 2 still, and so I haven't finished the game, so I can't speak on like how the story concludes. I do really like what they're doing with it. You remember how they fell through the hole in the trailer?
Yeah.
Did they say anything about what's going on after that, or not really?
I mean, I know that there's like some creature or something down in there, and like there's some like it's like on some old like ritual grounds, so like they're freaking out about shit like that.
All right, I won't go into detail then, but I really like what they're doing with that side of things.
Yeah,
with just what's down there, like what they are, how they're perceived, and just like the general history of them and what has gone down in that area. I don't remember it being this way in Until Dawn. This game puts you in these rooms that are pretty big, and you can like do a decent amount of exploring.
That's cool.
There's a decent amount of just walking around and finding shit that definitely adds a lot more kind of lore to what's going on. But also you can find some items that are very helpful like a little bit after that.
That's cool.
So like I found a completely optional, won't go into detail, completely optional like knife kind of thing for a guy that didn't have a weapon like that. And let's say that weapon really helped him not too long after that. And if he didn't have that weapon, I don't know how good things would have went for him. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it was found, and it was just like a completely off on its own little side corridor. Mm-hmm. You could have completely walked by and never went down there.
Do they still do the vision thing?
Yeah, so you can find tablets that give you like a real quick, maybe 1 or 2 second glimpse of a possible future.
Yeah.
And they're like fucking useless.
Really?
There's been one thing that gave me that gave us a hint as to like a little something. But otherwise it's like all right, here's the hint of this happening. Like one example I'll give is here's this one of the characters you could play as, like kind of surrendering and putting his hands up. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, okay, this seems like a good thing because it's not escalating to violence. So we got to that moment where we're like, we know what we need to do here. And then the character ended up dead. Huh. So it's not that helpful.
Right. I feel like in the past games it was better.
Yeah, so like it just straight up shows that, or it'll show like one of them was, this creature crawls out of this hole. And then later on, the creature crawls out of the hole. Mm. With like there's not like anything I could do about it. It's something that happens.
Interesting.
So they're kind of useless. We still find them as best as we can, just to be like, okay, so maybe there's something going on here with this.
Yeah.
I will say that situation of the guy with the melee weapon, that we did see that in a vision of like him using that melee weapon that we found. It didn't tell us where it was or that we needed to like find a side thing. But I guess there is that.
Okay.
But it's really not like the best hint system.
Yeah.
And the exploring, the game doesn't control the best.
No, they don't.
It's not a combat game. Like you're not actually like all things like that are quick time events.
Damn. The way that I think it was IGN that came out with a video. I feel like they made it sound like it was more like Resident Evil-y and like kind of like you're moving slowly and like you actually do things.
So you do move slowly,
but like it feels like you actually could have used the weapons and
no. So like you can hit L1 to like bring your weapon up like a rifle, and then like a flashlight will shine from it, and that definitely helps you see. But you can't hit any button to make that weapon fire. You don't. If you see a creature and you're firing at it, it's the thing where it's either a quick time event for a button or it cuts to slow motion, and in a quick amount of time you have to like get the crosshair and aim it right and then hit a button. But it's not straight up like shit's happening and you're just aiming and firing.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool, but it's not that.
Yeah.
It is still like everything is done through quick time events. So that's kind of like. Also, you move kind of slow, and some of the areas are pretty big. So there's no sprint button or move faster button. So you're just kind of slowly moving through the corridor.
I could have sworn there was for the other games.
Maybe there is, and we just haven't discovered it. But
it's not like right trigger or something.
No, I tried right trigger because I was trying to shoot the gun, and that wasn't doing anything.
Weird.
And the camera can be real bad sometimes, especially in a tight space.
Usually, yeah.
And we also had to quit out of the game one time because my girlfriend was exploring, and she went to like this one little room, and then she went to leave, and the character that was with her was following, and they were just standing in the doorway, and you could not move them.
Wow.
They were just in the doorway. Luckily, checkpoints seemed pretty good, so we just had to quit out of the game and go back, and like it was okay.
I would think so. I mean, at least Little Hope, that crashed a few times for me.
Oh, okay.
They're definitely not like the most polished games.
No, I will say I haven't had any issue with crashing or like frame rate's been totally fine. Like nothing like that is going on. And I guess my only other gripe is that it's kind of a good and a bad thing in a way. There's like literally no possible way to just have like a good playthrough of getting a lot of people to survive unless you're following a guide from the beginning or you've played it already.
I feel like that's expected.
It is, and that's why I'll say it's kind of a good thing because it honestly feels like we're playing a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like people are going to die. Not everyone lives in those movies. Same thing here.
I feel like the most important thing is that people have different like experiences and playthroughs.
Yeah, and there's definitely been some. I also found that it gave me a thing where it said I make the most head decisions. There's head decisions and heart decisions.
Yeah.
And I assume that's like a logic versus gut feeling type of thing. I'm making like all head decisions.
Yeah.
Not purposely. It's just the way it's happening.
Yeah.
Which is very me, like trying to think logically.
True.
And I've made some very bad decisions. Real bad ones.
Nice.
But overall, like I'm enjoying it. I didn't think going into this year that I was going to enjoy one of these games.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying it a decent amount. Is it one of my favorite games from this year? No.
Probably. I mean, no, probably not.
But I'm having a good time with it, and I'm pretty excited to see how it concludes, because I could totally see that being kind of a make or break kind of deal.
It's weird with these games because the ending really matters a lot. And like I said, with Little Hope, I was just more like confused.
Okay.
By the end of it, like I kind of got what they were trying to do, but I was just like, I still don't get it.
I mean, this seems like I don't know how bad it could be, because like I know what the creatures are essentially.
Yeah.
And the main goal is like, hey, let's leave.
Yeah.
So I would imagine the ending is like, whatever characters you got through it, leave.
It's weird because Little Hope was a different kind of game like that. Like I literally I cannot talk about it unless I just give away the ending.
I'm not gonna play it, so
all right.
Maybe big spoiler alert.
Big spoilers if you care about Little Hope.
Skip maybe like 2 minutes ahead if you do.
So, the weird thing is that you were going through, like, the whole story about Little Hope is it's this little town during, like, the Salem witch trials, and there was a lot going on to this family, like, a long time ago, and all these people are, like, for this class got together to go, like, through a detour through that town, and it was one of those, like, we can't leave, there's a fog, and once they go through the fog, they just come back out the fog, they can't leave the town.
Oh.
Every single person in this group looks like a member of the family who died back in the day.
Okay.
And as you're going through and, like, talking to people as this group and going on, in the end, you find out that you're just everyone together is just one person. It was the bus driver that no one could find. But it still didn't make any goddamn sense. Like, when you come across the first person you meet, he's like, they're like, hey, we're looking for our bus driver. And the dude's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Which doesn't make any sense until the end where you find out you're the bus driver. And he's like, why? Yeah, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, but you don't know that. The entire time throughout the game, you're just one bus driver having, like, delusions. And I left off in such a way that I just didn't get it. I kind of got it, but I didn't fully get it.
That's kind of a cool concept, but that seems like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It didn't
That feels
work
like the
too
type
well.
of thing that would work better for a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like that type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm probably by the time we're talking next week, I'm gonna have House of Ashes completed.
More than likely.
And the goal then is to move on to some Guardians of the Galaxy, which is out now, and I'm excited to get into soon.
It is. I want to try it myself. The Steelbook looks cool.
I don't think I've seen the Steelbook.
It's got, like, them lined up, like, all their faces and whatnot, and then on the back is just like the it's not the Nova symbol, but something like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But that's House of Ashes. I'm enjoying it more than I expected.
That's good. I have hopes for it, especially after.
Would you say you? I was gonna say, do you have like a little hope?
I have a little hope. Now, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, get into this.
So, I did not.
He didn't burp.
I did not anticipate enjoying this game as much as I have. I was just like, I don't know, it feels like I should just try it out. It feels like a big release. I ended up picking up Resident Evil 4 VR because I had just gotten the Quest and I can't put it down. I'm having a whole bunch of fun with it. And I've never played Resident Evil 4 originally. My true like first foray into the series was with Resident Evil 7 and 8. Like I've played some of 6 back in the day, but like it's 6.
Yeah.
So I like the only games that I've beaten have been 7 and 8. And that first person horror is such a level of immersion and works so well with the Resident Evil formula. I love it. And like that's what I'm hooked into. So when this came out, I was like, not only are people associating the similarities between Resident Evil 8 and Resident Evil 4, but this game is coming out in VR. What a better next Resident Evil game to play than one that I'm actually using a first-person perspective to play.
Yeah, which normally you don't. The game is not originally first-person.
And it's, like, I'm not even going to go into story stuff because it's a 16-year-old game, and I know I've been super, super late to the party.
Yeah, I do want to know where you're at.
So, have you played it? Like, do you know?
I know, and I never beat it, but like I know the beats of the game.
All right. The last thing I left off on was I just took out Del Lago and El Gigante.
All right, you're gonna have to describe those to me.
Del Lago is that giant salamander fish thing in the lake.
Okay.
And then El Gigante is that giant that is like behind the doors as you're heading to the lake, as you're coming back. He just kind of the doors open and then like the villagers of the town pull him out, and he's like this giant ogre looking thing.
Are you in like
It's like a little like arena, like 2 gates close.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the last 2 things I did. Boss fight after boss fight.
Have you
And actually no, I just got to the church and I just got Ashley. That's the last thing I did.
Okay. Have you done anything with Ashley?
No, but
I'm
they did.
Curious how that goes.
They did introduce me to the whole like, hey, follow me. Hey, wait here. Hey, follow me system. So
there's a lot of
one thing I did notice is when you go up to like a ladder, you just kind of the screen goes black for a second and you wind up at the bottom. And I got to the bottom of a ladder and I started to walk away and I just turned around and I'm looking up at her. She's still at the top and I'm like, are you gonna come down? I know there's issues with you. Are you gonna come down? Also, anytime I take my gun out and I just point it at her, she just starts freaking out. Which, granted, I would freak out.
There are the moments with her. I don't know if they changed this for this. I would imagine not.
I assume that she's still gonna be a pain in the ass.
It's like escort mission.
Yeah,
like you have to protect her.
Yeah,
it kind of is annoying.
Which, I mean, we'll see. It's different because one of the biggest things is that because you're in VR and just stuff in general, you don't have to like stand still and shoot anymore. You can move.
Right, that's true.
So like as I'm holding the controller, like holding a pistol, I can still use the thumbstick and walk backwards.
Right.
Which everything about this game just feels great. The movement, the shooting, like just using items and interacting with stuff, it all feels just really good. Specifically, when you get up to the typewriter, you are literally using your hands and clicking the keys to like name your saves file.
That's cool.
And then you hit the enter button and it goes ding, and then right next to it is a little bell which you take your finger and go ding 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 ding. Like I gotta ding it every time. It is so satisfying.
That's a level of interaction that I feel like VR not all VR games have.
Yeah.
But when they have that, like, ooh, that's cool. I like that.
Like I'll sit there and I'll hit backspace on my whole save slot just to
retype it.
And it only has so many characters to put in. So once I finished Del Lago, I went to go save the game and I was gonna write Big Fish Done, like, because I finished it, but it only let me wrote Big Fish Done, and I was just laughing at, hey, it's Big Fish Done, you know? I thought that was hysterical. So I kept that as my save name for a little bit.
It's not Big Fish Dawn anymore?
No, last I put was Got Girl. Because I just got Ashley, so Got Girl. But that stuff is very satisfying to do. But like I said, besides story stuff, I think initially, okay, so right off the bat, there are that usual blur that VR games have. Like, nothing's going to be, like, super clear still.
No, like, you're not going to put on a headset, it's going to be 4K HDR, like it.
But right from the game, you get a call in your device from Hunnigan, the agent or whatever.
Okay.
And you have to use your hand to, like, click, like, the answer button, and it, like, flips open. And I'm looking at it, and I'm watching, Leon on one side and her talk on the other, and like you can click on to skip past dialogue, but like it's so clear. Like it is so crazy clear that I'm holding this thing and I'm just watching it happen. Like I pulled my phone out and I'm just watching something. It like obviously the things in your hand and closer to your face are gonna have better resolution.
Yeah, and I wonder if they like really try to, if they like put the detail into that, knowing that people can be looking right at it.
It is like the crispest thing compared to the Walking Dead game. This game just looks better. Things are clear and whatnot. Like I pull out my gun and I'm like looking at it as like the light shines off the slide as I'm turning it and just looking at the details, and it's just it all looks good.
That's cool. It's cool that this is what they did with, because they've like done remastered of Resident Evil 4 like 2 times, I think.
A few times.
It's cool that like this is a direction they went to where, yes, it's Resident Evil 4, but in some ways it's just like completely new. Which
is what everyone's saying. Like if you're gonna like try Resident Evil 4 again, this is like the best thing because it nails everything about it in such a new feeling way.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's probably less frustrating to play.
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing on easy because I haven't played it before.
Okay.
And this is a new feeling.
But I remember controlling Resident Evil 4. It's kind of like slow and clunky.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
This is much faster and just
just first person and like actually aiming like that. I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you're reloading at whatever speed you reload, and like you can upgrade the shooting and whatnot. So getting to the weapons and like your body kit, it's like the natural Resident Evil like inventory system, but like you can like move stuff around with your hand. Like in the system, but like it's still the blocks and you have to fit them in a way where things have their own size and they take up that size. But you have 4 things that you can have on like your body. I have it switched where my left hand is my dominant hand, and so I have a pistol on my left hip, which I can pull out and it just looks great. On my right hip are where the ammo is, so I have a slot for shotgun shells and a slot for pistol clips. Okay. So I just pull out the clip, put it in the gun, and then I can like pull the slide and rack it back to like cock it, and that just feels so satisfying.
Cool.
That goes there. On the left side of my chest is where the grenade slot is. So I pull off a grenade, pull the pin, chuck it. Ugh, so satisfying.
That's cool, yeah.
On the right side of my chest is the knife. Probably the least satisfying thing. I feel like it's hard to make melee weapons like feel right in VR.
Can you do the Walking Dead thing where you grab their head and like...
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So like I'll go up to things. The main thing that I use it for is to just like break boxes and break...
barrels and stuff.
And like set off like bear traps.
Yeah.
I'm not really actually using it for enemies and whatnot, except unless when I have to. Like there was a fight with El Gigante where he's got the infected thing coming out of his back. So I go up, I click a button to climb on top, and it just automatically puts me on top, and I have the knife out and I have to start cutting at it.
Yep.
And then behind my back on my left side is where I pull out the shotgun, which I can hold with 2 hands and like rack it back and like aim and shoot, and it just feels so good.
This also sounds like it helps a lot with the Resident Evil inventory system, especially in some of those older ones. Just that setup sounds easier to like manage.
Which is, they call that the immersive, which it is. It feels great. Same thing with the shotgun. You only need to pull out 1 shell to like load it for it to be full.
Okay.
So you don't have to like load it and load it, because I feel like that'd be too time consuming. But when you're aiming down and then you rack it back and like you do it in such a manner that like it feels realistic too. Like you hold your hands at like the perfect length apart and like you turn the gun towards you and like you rack it and it just feels right. And it gives you the power that a shotgun should feel, like you're just unstoppable. And I'm just blowing heads off, and there's numerous enemies coming to me at once, and I'm just like panicking, like pulling out, reloading when I can. It's so satisfying to play. There is not like a single point in this game so far where I'm just like, this isn't amazing.
Yeah.
I am loving it.
That's cool.
Also on my right shoulder is I can put healing stuff, except the only thing that really seems to work, not in like the inventory management, is the first aid spray, which you can like shake around and then in normal Resident Evil fashion just spray anywhere on your person to like get it to work.
What if you were to just use like an herb or something?
So
did you have to like eat it?
No, because like there's eggs in the game. that do
Yeah,
health. I
yeah.
can hold an egg, but like I put it near my mouth. It doesn't do anything. There's also vials. I can pull that out, but I can't do anything with
What if
it.
you just like smash it on your body?
I can't do anything. I'm just holding it.
Huh.
So I go into the inventory system, and then I just kind of use it then and there. On my left wrist, I have a watch in like military style. So it's like it's on the bottom of your wrist when you're holding a weapon. And that displays your health going around. And it'll show you your ammo count for whatever weapon you're holding. And then it'll also shift to just showing how much time you've played so far in game.
That's cool.
Which I think...
We both really like when the game tells you how long you've been playing.
Yeah, anytime you save too, it just tells you. I think I'm
Yeah.
about 2.5 hours in.
Okay.
I think I just finished chapter 2-2. So, still pretty early. I don't know. I can't get over how great it feels. I did want to talk about, because I wrote in the blog, the Del Lago fight, because that is the biggest change in gameplay, because they throw you in a boat. So you are controlling a boat that's fast while also holding a harpoon gun and trying to shoot this giant fish or salamander or whatever. And it gets to a point where the anchor flies off the boat and gets attached to it. So now the boat is being dragged and you're going even faster. And I think it's the only time so far that I've like almost lost my balance. Like,
Oh, really?
I'm standing up and I'm trying to focus, turn my head, and I'm also like feeling like my eyes see a boat that is traveling at fast speeds, and like I can turn the boat a little bit while also turning my head, and I'm holding a harpoon gun in one hand, a harpoon in the other hand, ready to reload whenever I need to. And there's just so much going on. So I'm shooting, trying to reload real quick while also steering the boat. And whenever there's a time where like I mess up and I get knocked out of the boat, it puts me in like the thing where I'm watching a cutscene and like everything's black, and I have to use the controllers and like shake them up and down like I'm running to swim fast enough to get back to the boat. The way they do the QuickTime events are kind of like that, where like if there's a zombie on you or whatever, like you gotta shake. Like if you're running, you just gotta shake it like you're running. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like
that reminds me of the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah,
Like,
but it works. Like it still gives you something to do instead of like hitting a button for a quick
I don't mean
time.
that as like a bad thing.
No.
When the Nintendo Wii came out, my mind, I was younger at the time too.
Yeah.
But like my mind was kind of blown by that.
Yeah. And like that's how I feel just playing the game normally, just pulling out the guns. And you can dual wield. I can just take my hand when it's on the pistol, my left hand, use my right hand to reach over my left shoulder and pull the shotgun out and just like dual wield.
That's cool.
Which is, yeah, and you can do that with like the other two pistols or
Yeah.
the SMG or whatever. It feels so good.
That's cool, because it seems like they're doing the thing where, like, yeah, they're faithful. It is Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
But they're making the changes that you would want if you're playing in VR.
And I don't know, it could go really high up there for my
Yeah?
game of the year.
Yeah?
It's
All right.
It's really good. I'm really enjoying it.
That's cool. I don't know if I'm going to get to the... I'm at the point where I know I'm going to get a Quest 2.
Yeah.
I know it's going to happen.
It's so
but
good.
But is it going to happen this year?
Hope so.
Probably not.
I hope I just fucking get it in your head to get one.
I mean, if you want to just get me one.
I don't want to get... I mean, I want to get you one. I don't have the funds to just get you one.
Well,
I didn't necessarily have the funds to get me one, but I was going to get me one.
You just did it. You had that sign from the guy at Best Buy.
Well, that too. And I also had a 10% off birthday coupon. So I was like...
The stars aligned.
The stars aligned, and I got a Quest. I was on a quest.
You were on a quest for the Quest.
And I got it. Oh, it's so good.
All right, that's it for games. Before we get into news, we just want to play a quick message from our friends over at the Online Warriors podcast. If you're not checking them out every Wednesday, you should be, because it's right before our episode comes out on Thursdays. They're only about an hour long. It's not a huge time commitment. It's these three best friends, Tech Tick, Illegal, and Nerd Bomber. And I like it because it's kind of like us, where like we have that chemistry.
Yeah.
Their whole thing is like they want to do the show as like their way to catch up on all like the shit they're playing or watching.
I feel like I'm lame too for not having cool nicknames.
I'm
I'm Dave, and I'm Dylan.
Dylan.
Yeah.
And I'm Tech Tick. Way cooler.
Whoa, all right.
Tech Tick could probably kick our asses.
And someone from all podcasts can probably beat the shit out of us.
They don't just talk about games though.
Yeah.
They movies, books, technology, like just tech in general. They were covering the new Nvidia card thing. I don't know that shit, but they do. So you should go check them out. Check out their latest episode. They talked about the Uncharted movie trailer,
which is interesting.
I know you have thoughts about that. They've been playing Metroid Dread. They did a Frankenstein quiz for Halloween.
Ooh.
But every Wednesday, here's a little message from the Online Warriors podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Nerd Bomber.
And I'm Tactic, and we're two of the hosts of the Online Warriors podcast.
Our podcast started as a way for three best friends to keep in touch and discuss their nerdy hobbies like movies, gaming, tech, and more.
Since then, we've grown into a great community. Every Wednesday, we chat about the latest nerdy news before getting hands-on with our weekly nerdy adventures.
And don't forget our high-stakes trivia game. Come join the fun at onlinewarriorspodcast.com and every major podcast platform. And now, back to the show.
And we're back to talk about the PlayStation State of Play.
Which felt like it came out of nowhere for me.
And it ended out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was very quick.
Yeah, I was hoping for more from it.
Yeah, I mean, I had kind of no idea until you told me, yesterday?
Yeah, because I only saw it online. I was like, oh, I guess that's something we have to think about now.
Yeah, which it makes sense why it wasn't super hyped up, because it wasn't a big thing. There was no big reveals, really.
The biggest thing was more info on the little devil inside, which I couldn't even fully remember what that was.
I remembered the little poop thing, the poop joke they did.
I didn't even. I when rewatching what they showed of it, all I could think of was Wes Anderson, because those kind of shots of that guy in that are very Wes Anderson shots.
But we will get to that. We're gonna go in order. They started with Death Verse, Let It Die.
Yeah, I didn't like that. No,
it's just, it seems like another one of those just multiplayer melee combat games that, I don't know. Sometimes there's one that I'm like, ooh, this one looks cool. And then I check it out, I'm like, it's not that good.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single one of those that came out that were not anywhere memorable to me.
Right. Yeah, that's spring 2022. Who knows? Maybe this is the one. It didn't look like it to me, but
I was not interested.
And then We Are OFK, which I was confused by this.
Yeah.
Because they were presenting it. So it's a 5-episode series about a band. And the way they were presenting it, I thought it was an actual band. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know this band. And then I looked it up, and it's not a real band? I don't think.
Because they were being really weird with the trailer, because they were like, yeah, hey, did you see what I put on the PlayStation blog? Oh, what'd you do about this? And when I was like, this just seems like real people talking.
I thought it was supposed to be the band members.
Yeah.
Which, it is the band members, but not a real band. The band from the game.
And I'm just so confused.
It was confusing. It's like a visual novel type game. Yeah. They were talking about, you could, you could text other, bandmates or other people, and you can, date some if you want, and shit like that. I don't know exactly how it works. We were watching this. We both worked today, so we had it up at work. So
yeah,
it was a distracted viewing.
Mm-hmm.
You can play through the music videos, whatever that means. I didn't really catch that.
I don't know.
I'm kind of interested.
I'd like to know more, because it felt like so sudden.
Yeah, and it was hard to really understand what was going on.
Yeah.
It seems like one of those things where, if the writing is good, it's probably good.
Yeah.
But it seems like more or less a visual novel. So, it really depends on the writing.
This has really felt like the year for indie games, so, I mean, it could be great.
This, I think about that, because I don't know if it was because we started the podcast, so we're, just playing a lot of different things in general.
I don't know. I feel like they just have been better.
Yeah, it feels honestly, if I look at the so-called AAA games and the indie games from this year, yeah, I like a lot of these indie games better than those AAA games.
I mean,
I feel like they offer some more. I don't know. I feel like with AAA games, you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
a lot of times
the indie games is where you really get to experiment, and and it feels like they're just so much more relatable, and they're just more I don't know.
It feels like the characters feel almost more real, because they're I don't know. There's not some big studio where it's it needs to be like this. Or And I know I understand that's not necessarily how games work.
When 90% of the time when studios interfere, it's a bad interference.
Yes. And a lot of these indie developers just kind of have complete freedom.
Road 96, fantastic.
Great.
Echo Generation, I played the demo, fantastic.
Yeah, really enjoying that.
Sable, you were loving it.
Oh, Sable is probably going to be up there for me.
Death's Door came out, that was great.
Forgotten City,
Eastward even.
I liked the Big Con. I enjoyed that one.
Shit. There was I played
fucking shit.
Fucking shit. Shit's great. It's the shit. I played a bunch of demos. What was that one with the puppet?
Oh, I don't know what that was. But, was that like the Puppeteer or something?
No, it was something else.
I remember there was the one where you were whispering.
Shit, I don't know.
The girl's name.
Well, Arietta. I like that one. That was good. Yeah, I don't know. There's just been a lot of indie stuff.
So, like, honestly, indie games, like, way more... over the years, they have become more and more and more on my radar.
Yeah.
And now it just kind of feels like I see an indie game and I'm just like, yeah, I'm in. Like, I'll check this out. It also helps that they're usually a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I feel like it's good luck to indie games next year.
Yeah. It's a crowded year next year.
Yeah,
it does help.
It's getting fucking worse every day.
It does it helps that this year has been kind of slow.
Yeah.
Like, there's been some big releases, but I feel like the indies have really held this year up. Mm-hmm. After that, we got the thing I'm most excited about. Bug Snacks, the Isle of Big Snacks.
Which, very happy for you.
So, we didn't have a podcast at the time, but for the last couple of years, we kind of do our own individual, let's just like top 10 game of the year type of situations, and we just kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
Bug Snacks was my 2020 game of the year. I fucking love Bug Snacks. So this is a whole new island, and again, we were a little distracted at work. From what I understand, this island came out from under the water randomly.
Yeah.
And the Bug Snacks are big. They're big snacks.
But can be made small with items?
Probably. That seems right.
That happened in the trailer.
You can put hats on your Bug Snacks now. Mm-hmm. One of the things I fucking am very excited about is that you finally you have your own hut that you could decorate. Mm-hmm. You can get decorations for it, and I love shit like that. And probably the best thing about it is that it's coming early 2022, completely free.
Big update.
I got the game completely free with PlayStation Plus, and this update, like, this is one of my favorite games in the last few years, and I haven't spent a single dollar on it.
That's the
which
best.
is kind of crazy.
You gotta go buy all the merch now.
All of it?
All of it.
I think I remember looking for merch, like official merch, and I couldn't find any.
I thought they had like plushies and stuff.
Ooh, maybe they'd. Ooh. Then they went on to Security Breach, which more Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, it's kind of cool they're doing something a little different with this one.
I don't think they're ever going to do anything that's going to interest me.
Well, that's the thing. It's.
I don't think we're the right demographic.
I don't think we are. It's different from what they have been doing, but it's also not different.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen this type of game plenty of times.
Yeah.
But that's coming December 16th, 2021. Death's Door is coming to PlayStation, which we were just mentioning. Great game. The combat feels real good.
Yeah.
Check that out if you haven't.
Final boss sucks.
If you it can get difficult. If you only have a PlayStation, it's now coming November 23rd.
Very soon.
Yeah. So check that out. That's a great game. Then they showed Kart Rider Drift, aka Mario Kart version 5 million at this point.
Yeah.
It feels like there's just more.
It's because, like I said, Nintendo has perfected the arcade racing game, and no one can do it better.
No, I don't. It
can only be copied.
Like, I don't think they. Yeah. I don't think they can.
Like, what can you do?
How do you top it?
It's already so great.
King of Fighters 15. They showed open beta is going to be on PlayStation November 19th and 20th, and they have release date February 17th, 2022. More 2022 game. I'm personally not invested in this whatsoever. Not a big fighting game guy.
I want to get it. Like, I have some King of Fighters game on Xbox. Ever since Injustice and Mortal Kombat, I'm like, all right,
So
I like fighting games now.
I don't necessarily like fighting games.
I like
but
beating fighting games and then not playing them anymore.
I like putting it on easy, still struggling because I'm really bad at fighting games. I don't care enough to get good at them.
Yeah.
But like I'm there for the story. Like Mortal Kombat 11, I was like,
absolutely. I played Aftermath. I played that DLC. I just wanted more.
I never played the DLC, but it was like surprisingly good.
I think the DLC was a little
We talked about that
frustrating
a while ago, but
story-wise.
After King of Fighters, they showed First Class Trouble, aka Among Us. Not actually Among Us, but Among Us.
Yep.
The cool thing, though, is that it comes out November 2nd, and from November 2nd to December 6th, it will be free for PlayStation Plus users.
Whatever.
Which I am, so maybe I will check that out if it's free. Then they showed a new Star Ocean game. Star Ocean The Divine Force. I never played any Star Ocean games.
Neither did I.
This looked cool to me, though.
I thought it was weird Final Fantasy.
Kinda. There is, like, sci-fi space shit, and then there's, like, fantasy green lush world shit.
Giant colorful frog.
Yeah, apparently I read a little bit, so listen, I'm no expert on this. You get to choose between two protagonists, and one of them is, like, a space sci-fi person, the other one's, like, a colorful frog person.
Okay.
And that seems to change things.
Okay. Sure.
The Anthem-esque flying around that world.
Yeah.
Which, like, that seemed kind of cool. Because in theory, Anthem was always pretty cool.
Yeah.
In delivery, different story. But in theory...
Give us Anthem 2.
Well, I don't know if that's the answer. But it seems like a cool open world that's coming 2022. I'm interested. And then, yeah, like we were talking, Little Devil Inside, which...
All over the fucking place.
It was a very different game than I was expecting, but I was also into it.
Yeah.
So it was doing that, like, you're traveling across a map, and it's, like tabletop kind of, where, like, it's, like, pieces moving on a map, and, like, shit happens on the map, and you have to make decisions. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to, like, an area, it's more just, like, 3D. And it seems cool.
And there's just random combat that, like,
there's,
has
like,
physics
straight up
too.
Action combat. And yeah, they, like, what did they had, like,
he stabbed a guy, turned around, and threw him into another guy, and he fell over.
That seems cool.
Yeah.
I was really digging, like, the whole, like, they showed you going into this kind of spooky mansion type place that turns out it was haunted, and you were there for something, and then a dude kicked you into a pool, and, like, a kraken was coming out of the water.
And then immediately, like, and then he got out.
And then he was, like, haunted, though?
Yeah.
There were, like, ghosts following him around or something?
I don't know.
It seemed cool.
Yeah.
I was, like, I'm now way more on board than I was with the initial trailer. So, yeah. No release date, though. I really thought there was going to be a release date.
Yeah, I think that's going to be, like, their next, like, Kana, and, like, try to do that with it.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
That. But, that was the PlayStation State of Play. Like I said, like, there was some stuff here I was into. I don't necessarily know if they needed a whole event for this.
No.
But also, like, there was some stuff here that I was digging. But it really was nothing big.
No.
Like, the Bugsnax thing, for me personally, that was big, but mainstream gaming-wise, maybe not so much.
It was advertised like, hey, we're going to find out more about Little Devil Inside. Turns out it was the last thing they showed, so I guess that was the heavy hitter.
It seems like it was the big thing for them.
So, all right.
And yeah, I do think that game looks cool. All right, we're on to news.
Let's start off sad. Shadow Warrior 3 delayed to early 2022.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like I made a tweet about it. Like I said, I would be upset if I didn't know that I was already going to fall in love with the game when it comes out. I need to be patient, and I'm not patient because I want it so bad.
I know. I mean, it was kind of expected at this point.
Yeah, because they just kept saying,
like,
like I want to get mad at them, but it's like I don't want to get mad at them. But they came out with that tweet where they were like, when you're within weeks of releasing a release date trailer, and then a month or two went by, and I'm just like, hey, I want it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point though, like we're basically in November.
Yeah,
if you don't have a release date at this point, you're not coming out this year.
And then 2022 just gets more goddamn bloated.
Yeah, it's bloated.
So many games.
More games need to come out in like January and February and like not March.
I need a raise next year.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be an expensive year.
Very.
While we're talking about game delays, let's talk about that Advanced Wars. The Advanced Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. That got delayed.
Really?
Yeah, it was supposed to come out December 3rd. That is now spring 2022.
Oh, that sucks. That's a jump.
I'm not really into those types of games, but I know people love Advanced Wars, so
Yeah, like I don't
that's
have a
bummer
connection
for
to
some
it,
people.
but that is like one of the most popular Game Boy Advance games like
Oh yeah,
ever.
people love Advance Wars.
Which I'm a huge Game Boy Advance fan, but I never had that growing up.
Yeah, and like that type of like tactics game is it's
Yeah.
not my jam. But
No. Pokemon though, best tactics game.
oh, Pokemon Tactics.
Just Pokemon.
Oh, isn't there a game called Pokemon Tactics though?
It's Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't know if there's Pokemon Tactics.
I'm probably thinking of Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy Tactics is extremely popular.
Yeah.
Which
Doesn't Pokemon have something like that though?
Well, it's just tactical in general. You just got a turn-based tactics.
Yeah, but more that.
I don't fucking know.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Aren't we still waiting on Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered?
I think so.
Yeah, where's that?
I don't know. It hasn't been talked about.
Yeah. Where's 16?
Huh?
I need Final Fantasy.
Oh, Final Fantasy 16. I thought you were talking about something else completely different.
Where's the number 16? Just in general. Haven't seen it in a while.
What else you got over there?
So who wants a Quiet Place game?
I do.
Sure.
I do.
I mean, sure. It's very unexpected that they're just kind of like blowing up the Quiet Place universe, and this is
Yeah.
apparently going to be like its own story.
Yeah, it's in the same world.
Yeah.
But it's not telling. So I never saw Quiet Place 2.
Me either.
I've only seen the first one, and I enjoyed it. It was
I
pretty
thought
good.
it was good. Yeah.
So yeah, it's not following that story, but it's gonna be. I feel like it's a good premise for a game.
It's
We'll
coming
see.
2022 by Saber Interactive.
Thanks, Sabre.
Sabre for giving us the chance to learn.
The Haunted Chocolatier was announced. This is the next game by Stardew Valley creator Concerned Ape. Mm-hmm. That's what he goes by. And yeah, it's another sim game, and like that, it looks visually a lot like Stardew Valley. But apparently it's going to be pretty different. You're like running a chocolate shop, but it's kind of like darker and more fantastical, but the same kind of concept, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Stardew Valley's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
If I had unlimited time, I could see it. I could see me being into that, but there's no time. It's a commitment.
Yeah.
That game's a commitment, and I don't have time for a commitment like that.
Multiverses. That's a rumor.
What? Huh?
That's the WB
Okay.
themed Smash game
Yep.
where Batman, Gandalf, Shaggy all come together and
Tom and Jerry's there. I saw another image leaked from that showed some more. Was it? I want to say Rick and Morty were there.
Okay.
At least I think that they were there. It was another like one of those big cartoons that I never watched. But yeah, this seems pretty real.
I mean, I guess they're just becoming more of a thing. You got Smash, you got the Nickelodeon one.
Yeah.
Fucking PlayStation used to have one. Remember that?
PlayStation.
All
Well, it was
Stars?
PlayStation All Stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's these games like playing them just don't like. It's so cool to me in just seeing it.
Yeah.
Like Smash Brothers is cool. All the characters in one game is cool, but then it's like there's not really a story going on.
Give me something like Injustice.
That's how you get me to play a fighting game.
Yeah.
Which I know we're not really the target for these games
No.
with that,
But I want to be.
yeah. NetEase has bought Grasshopper Manufacture.
I did see that.
That's Suda51 Studio. No More Heroes. And this is interesting because the one of the creators of Yakuza, Toshihiro Nagoshi, just left RGG and has been heavily tied to going to NetEase, which means we could have those two minds under the same roof. And that is a collaboration I want to see, honestly.
Imagine No More Heroes mixed with Yakuza.
I would love that.
Just how crazy that would be.
That would be cool. So Nagoshi was never confirmed to be going there, but it's pretty rumored. Like, the rumor happened that he was in, like, deep talks with NetEase, and then it was a few weeks later he actually left RGG and Sega. So it was like, well, all right, this seems kind of true. So, interesting. Also, I kind of hope this means now with this happening that there will be No More Heroes 4.
Maybe. Depends.
We'll
It's up
see.
to him.
Do you have any more news over there? Because I have a few more things still.
I didn't really find anything that I cared too much about this week.
All right. Did we talk about the GTA trilogy being officially announced last week, or was that this week?
I think that was last week that we touched base on that. Because I think we covered that it was coming out separately. Hold on. I could check last week's news.
Well, I don't remember talking about how it looked. I don't know if that trailer was out.
So I think it looks fine.
I think if people were going into this expecting a remake, which this is not,
No.
they would be very disappointed. But it doesn't look. The environments look better, but like the characters look kind of not great.
I don't have a problem with it because that's on purpose. It's an art style. They're taking the characters and they're like making them a little better while still giving them that like for the people that have played these games like a nostalgic feel, because they kind of, someone said they look like kind of like action figures, and like they
Yeah.
I don't know. I dig it. I'm fine with it.
There are some of those people where I'm seeing like the way their faces look, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh.
I don't know. I don't got an issue with it.
It's not going to stop me from playing it.
I think it will.
Well, you heard it here first. But yeah, that's December 7th, and it's going to be $59.99 for all three.
December 7th for the physical, November 11th for the digital.
Oh, okay. That's what I said.
And it's coming to Switch.
Yeah, which I guess kind of works.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense. Let's talk about Xbox. We got a couple Xbox things here. One of them is that they are supposedly working on a cloud-based MMO game. As in, you can play on pretty much any device. And from what I was reading, it's supposed to be like, if you pull it up on phone, you could do like some of the smaller tasks of like an everyday MMO. And then when you get home and play it on your PC or your console or your TV or wherever you're streaming it to, that's when you can do like the bigger like party-based things.
Interesting.
It's a cool concept. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Also, hypothetically, with the cloud, you should be able to have like a shit ton of players and it not be too big of a problem.
Yeah.
So that's a cool idea and it makes sense. Jeff Grubb said it, so it's probably true. Also, Jeff Grubb confirmed something else about Xbox, which is a Wu-Tang Clan RPG.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the details on this game.
I didn't know. I didn't look too far into it.
So again, this is not confirmed, but Jeff Grubb said like, yeah, this all lines up with what I'm hearing, which means it's basically true.
Yeah.
So it's being made by Brass Lion Entertainment, which focuses on games about like traditionally marginalized people and cultures, and so that makes sense. It's gonna be a third-person fantasy RPG,
Which is crazy.
about 25 hours long. We'll have 4-player co-op, and then you can collect loot, and there's gonna be procedural end-game dungeons.
Sure.
Like, I know this is not the first Wu-Tang like game happening, but
it is to my knowledge. I don't.
No, wasn't there those old Wu-Tang Clan games?
You're talking to someone who has no connection to Wu-Tang whatsoever.
I mean, I don't really either.
I know nothing. I know 50 Cent got a bunch of games.
Oh god, it's all just news from.
Yeah.
People ask, are Wu-Tang Clan gangsters? Yeah, Wu-Tang Shaolin style. It's a fighting game. Yeah. So this is not the first Wu-Tang game.
All right.
But
this is a sequel.
Also, Wu-Tang Clan is making the soundtrack for the game, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Is it that Martin Shkreli album?
it's finally going to be set free.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. We kind of talked about the season 1 Devil in Me thing. People are not happy with Nintendo right now.
Oh no! Oh, because of the expansion.
With the Nintendo 64 games, apparently they run like shit.
And apparently they didn't like fix a lot of the issues. Like you could still do some glitches in some of the old games too.
So the biggest problem is like there's frame rate problems, there's input lag, and there's audio delay. Which
they were like we just got to get it out there and charge $80.
You're paying like twice as much for this service to get the N64 games, and like it's cool that they're there.
Yeah.
But also they're old games. You're not getting anything new. It's cool that you can take them on the go, but if that's you're going to be your big offer for charging twice as much, you gotta. Yeah. It's gotta be good.
These are some flagship titles. They just don't run well.
I got 2 more things here.
I mean, I could talk about Samsung and how they have they have a new little thing that they're gonna do with their TVs. Have their own like little streaming service. Like okay,
it's
everyone.
It feels Stadia. Like it's just like it feels like the streaming service is just gonna be Xbox.
Yeah,
like it feels like
if someone's gonna get it right,
it's Xbox.
Yeah.
Like it seems like one of those things that everyone's gonna kind of jump into, and it's just like I mean, to be fair, we don't know the details of what this means with Samsung.
Yeah,
but if it's gonna be like if they're trying to do a Stadia route, I don't know about that.
Good luck.
Yeah,
look at Stadia.
Exactly. Far Cry 6.
Yeah,
we made a little touch on it, but they're what's his name in the game? I just know El Presidente.
Anton Castillo.
He's emailing people.
Yep. So busy dealing with Yara right now and Vivito. He's emailing people.
He's emailing people. This is basically Ubisoft is emailing people that they noticed are kind of like fell off Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
And being like they're acting as if it's from the character.
Yeah.
Sending emails like kind of taunting, like, thanks for giving me such an easy time here. Like, I'm running it great. Like,
which I think that's a perfectly harmless, fun, marketing.
People are getting upset, and then we were just talking about how like I get bombarded from email from things like services all the time.
Yeah,
this is nothing new.
Think about regular mail. You know how many bullshit things I get in the mail saying I'm approved for some credit card I don't give a fuck about.
All of my mail is trash.
If some random dictator was like, yeah, come on, get a credit card, do it, I'd be like, all right, that's kind of funny.
I feel like this is kind of a fun spin on it.
Yeah.
Granted, yeah, it's spam mail.
Yeah.
You could probably just unsubscribe from it.
Yeah.
Like, people are upset. I think it's just kind of funny.
It is.
I doubt it's going to actually work to get people to play more Far Cry 6, but it's kind of funny. And then we're going to talk about Shoji Meguro. That is the composer for the Persona games with Atlus, the last however many years, a long time. And as you may or may not know, the Persona games have some fucking banging music.
Oh, do they?
Persona 5 soundtrack is... I haven't played every single video game. From the games I've played, it is probably the best soundtrack ever in a video game.
Interesting.
It's fucking good. He's leaving Atlus to go develop his own indie games. Good news. He's still gonna like work with Atlus to make the soundtracks for Persona.
Good.
And another interesting tidbit, we're gonna see one of his first games very soon. November 6th, it's gonna be revealed at Indie Live Expo. It's going to be like a sci-fi themed stealth mechanics game.
Interesting.
So, I guess we'll see what that is in a couple weeks.
Metal Space Solid.
I mean, Persona, at least, I've only played Persona 5, and I fucking loved it, but it has, like, there is stealth in it. You can, like, straight up just do that game stealth. So, well, kind of. Kind of. You still end up getting into fights, but stealth can help you a lot.
Okay.
You got anything else?
Nah.
I think that's going to do it.
I got notable game releases.
Shit! I always forget. I even have it written down right here in front of me.
Then what's wrong?
I don't know. Something
What's
about notable
wrong?
game releases just... I don't know.
I got 3. I don't got a lot.
I have 3 too.
Riders Republic.
Yeah.
Coming out tomorrow. Listening
Today.
It's today if you're listening.
Today.
I'm getting there. It's coming out tomorrow, but if you're listening, it's out now.
Today.
That's coming. PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Stadia.
I hope you wrote everything down for Voice of Cards, The Owl Dragon Roars.
Also coming out October 28th, which is tomorrow. Also today if you're listening. Coming to PC, PS4, and Switch.
That is that Yoko Taro game.
Which seems so interesting, and I just
That's Yoko Taro. That's the shit he does.
still don't get it.
I don't really get it either, but I want to jump into that sooner rather than later. So maybe next week I'll get it.
The other one that I got is that Giants Uprising.
Huh?
This was the game that was shown off recently, and like it got a lot of attraction. It's coming to PC November 2nd. You just kind of play a giant going around doing things and like breaking shit, and
So you're a dick?
I don't know.
Are you like destroying cities and killing people?
Dude, this had like a 5-minute trailer, like cinematic trailer, and people were like digging it, and then there was some shit, and now it's coming out. I don't
remember it.
If you want to play it.
Is there more to that, or is just if you want to play it?
If you want to, then play it.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah, if you want to.
I didn't get...
Play it.
Yeah, I didn't get that pause. I thought it was just, if you want to play it.
I ain't gonna fucking stop you.
I got one more thing, which doesn't have an official release date yet, but is coming out this week. It's called Pikmin Bloom. It's the Pokemon Go version of Pikmin.
Whatever.
It's like out now in Australia, I think, and it's supposedly...
It's always New Zealand and Australia that get shit first.
Yeah, they get it first, and then it's gonna probably come out this weekend or next week for us.
The Harry Potter version of Pokemon Go sucked.
So, from what I understand, I only read a little bit about it. This is less about, like... This is much more, like... Go walk. Because, like, your Pikmin follow you and then, like, plant flowers all around you in the world.
Yeah.
So, it's much more about that, like, walking around and doing that. Which, I don't know. I'm not going to go out on walks. I'm lazy and don't like exercising.
I took a walk today.
Oh, there you go. You could try Pikmin Bloom. Go plant some flowers.
No.
Oh. You could, though.
I could.
Soon. But we don't know exactly when. Apparently, this is normal for them. Like, Pokemon Go was kind of like this.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened. Like, there was no day. It just happened.
Weird. That's dumb.
Oh, I don't know what to tell you. But I do know what to tell you. Have you seen that latest hot actor?
Will Smith?